We're springing ahead this weekend. Now it's time for a visit from a guy who is back from the future. 1 hour in the future on Rock 107.
Prospector. Oh, I'm just in time. Listen, you may not want to put Diablo sauce on your burrito supreme. I'm just saying.
He's returned from 1 hour in the future on Rock 107.
Breaking the news that's already broken. It's time for Prospector's Briefs on Rock 107.
Today is Plant Power Day, a day to celebrate the benefits of a plant-based diet. Good, because if there's one thing you vegans need, it's another excuse to be smug and preachy. Experts say sugar should make up only 5% of a person's daily calories, which means most of us will have to reduce the amount of sugar in our diets by 95%. The Kansas City Chiefs unveiled plans to renovate Arrowhead Stadium. It will also be renamed Arrowhead Stadium Taylor's version.
It's 60 Minutes meets Gone in 60 Seconds. Tune in tomorrow for Prospector's Briefs on Rock 107.
Shelves. I don't know. You want to try some of these? Feel free. Cheez-It flavored ranch dressing. Hidden Valley just announced it ahead of National Ranch Day on March 10th. It hits Walmart and Kroger stores this month, so you can give it a shot. Grilled cheese flavored tomato soup. I mean, come on. Dipping a real grilled cheese sandwich into your soup, that's awesome. If it's too much for you, Campbell's is doing a limited run of this soup where supposedly it tastes just like that. You want to try it? Check out the soup aisle. It may already be in stores. And Oscar Mayer now has meatless hot dogs. They're called not hot dogs, and they're from plant-based meat substitutes, a little different than a veggie dog. Their parent company, Kraft Heinz, has a plant-based offshoot now called They're Not Company, so they partnered up with them for it. From what we've all heard about hot dogs, though, what's the real thing anyway? Here's the new radio jingle for the not hot dog.
My hot dog has a first name, it's O-S-C-A-R. My hot dog has a second thing, no meat in it at all. Instead of bug parts and nitrates, there's one thing that I'd like to say. Hot dogs are so full of junk, there's no meat in there anyway.
It's time to have a little fun on the phones. Good morning. I'm Rock 107's Prospector, and I got a call from a guy named Ed who said, "Hey, Prospector, I'd love you to prank my wife, Tiffany. She just had her car in a Toyota getting some service done. Check engine light was on. It's all taken care of, but maybe you could prank her about that." So I've come up with the idea that she needs to come back in for a part that we missed, and it's causing people to get sick. It's time for another Prospector prank call on Rock 107.
Hello,
Yeah, hi, this is Rick calling for Tiffany.
this is she.
Hey, Tiffany, I really want to talk to you quick. I work over here at Toyota, and I wanted to talk to you quick. We had your car in last week, what looks like Wednesday, for your check engine light.
Yeah.
And the analysis we got was wrong. I went over our data. Looks like we're going to have you come back in and just get one part added to your catalytic converter. Probably take about 2 hours to put that piece on.
Are you sure? Because I don't think anything's wrong. The check engine light's not on
No,
anymore.
I understand that, but we had to do that manually. We shut that off. So if you have time, if you could spare a couple hours in the middle of the week, we'd love to have you come in, and I could schedule that right now for you if it's all right.
I really don't have time during the week.
Okay, but we kind of need you to get in here as soon as possible. It is urgent.
Is this considered like a recall? Like, how much is this going to cost me?
Probably around $3,500 to $3,700, depending on how long labor takes to put the part on.
Well, I just don't understand why you didn't catch it while you had the car in the first place.
Well, we did catch it, but we interpreted the data wrong, and like I said, about $3,500 to $3,700. And
so now I have to pay more money and use more of my time because you guys made a mistake.
Well, listen, we didn't make a mistake. We just misdiagnosed.
That's
okay,
no
and I can't
problem.
impress upon you enough about how urgent it is for you to come back in as soon as possible.
Why is it so urgent?
The car is letting out toxic fumes behind you, and that's getting into other cars, and it's causing people to inhale those fumes. You've probably been in a drive-through, and you've dealt with this. The fumes come in. These ones are causing vomiting and diarrhea.
So am I at risk now at getting sick, too, because you guys made a mistake?
Well, the fumes aren't coming into your car. They're coming out of your car and into other cars. That's why we need to add that part. There's massive amounts of vomiting and diarrhea following you wherever you drive right now.
So now we're back to this is your fault, and I have to pay for it.
It's a part you would have to, no matter what, you'd have to put it on.
I've just never heard of anything like this.
That's because the typical part is put on the car, and often this never happens.
I've ever heard of a car getting someone's diarrhea.
Well, the problem is it's often misdiagnosed, and people think they got the flu when they've got the fumes.
Well, you often misdiagnose?
No. Doctors and hospitals misdiagnose
How
it.
did we
Look,
get to the
I'm going to tell you,
hospital
look, do you want to come in as soon as you can? We
No,
can get the...
I don't want to come in. I'm not going to pay $3,500.
You're going to be forced to have your car impounded because you can't be out there poisoning everybody with a car that's polluting, okay?
Are you joking? You've got to be
Look,
kidding
you
me.
got to come in and you got to get the Prosy on your car as soon as possible. Now, do you want to pay for the Prosy or not?
What is it?
It's a Prospector prank call.
Oh, God.
You're on Rock 107 right now.
That is so not funny. I'm like, am I going to get sick? Do I need to go to the
Tiffany.
hospital? Oh, my God.
You know what? Next time you get the flu, you're going to think it's your car.
Oh, it's so gross. God.
07.
We're springing ahead this weekend. Now it's time for a visit from a guy who is back from the future. 1 hour in the future on Rock 107.
Prospector, you gotta listen to me. I know it sounds crazy. You will be contacted by a Nigerian prince about a large inheritance. You're gonna be rich.
He's returned from 1 hour in the future on Rock 107.
Something where you're like, what did I even do that for? Hey, I'm Rock 107's Prospector. I call it uncommon sense. When I was a kid, I put a pizza box in a hot oven. Oh, yeah, there was a lot of smoke. My boss's wife mistakenly put her iPhone in the microwave instead of something she was trying to heat up. That's a big whoops. I want to know your uncommon sense moment. Tell me that dumb thing you did, and you're like, oh, I can't believe it. Got one from Open Mic on the Rock 107 app, that uncommon sense moment.
I took the safety off of a rifle I was loading, and yeah, the bullet fragments are still in my leg.
Amanda says I opened the trunk of my car without unlocking the car and locked the car keys in the trunk. Thankfully, my mother-in-law was willing and able to bring my spare. Out of the rock lines, looking for your uncommon sense moment on Rock 107. Lisa, what do you got?
I put a Pop-Tart in our toaster, and our toaster didn't work at the time, so I was supposed to lift up and pop it myself.
Right.
Well, I got interested in a Tom and Jerry cartoon, and I forgot about it, and next thing I know, the cupboards are in flames.
Oh, my God.
My mom stopped it right before it got to the curtains, and then there was any real damage.
No fire department, anything
No
like
fire
that?
department. Just a lady from across the street in her night cream makeup comes over with baking soda to tell us to put out the fire.
Facebook.com/Angry Prospector. Dan says, I had a car in high school. Some days I drove to school. Some days I took the bus. One day I drove to school and then took the bus home. When I got home and didn't see my car, I convinced myself that someone stole it while I was at school. Al says, I paid for my food in the drive-thru at the first window. I'm talking on my phone. Then I just drove right on out because there was no one in front of me at the second window. Oh, yeah, that's good. How about you? What is that dumb thing you did? Your uncommon sense moment. Rock 107 checking in on the rock lines with Matt.
I had a 76 Ford F-150. It was white. It was one of them celebration models.
Mm-hmm.
We were fishing it down in Delaware. We backed up to the river. The girls wanted to go up and have a fire. Started making the fire, and my buddy Tony's like, Matt, your truck's going. I'm like, going where? He goes, it's going into the water. I'm like, yeah, whatever, dude. One of the girls were like, oh, my God, Matt, your truck is gone. I'm like, what? So I go over and look at it. My fishing pole's gone, so I lost my truck and my fishing pole.
Got one from Open Mic on the Rock 107 app. Your uncommon sense moment.
I spent an hour one day looking for my glasses, and my husband went into the freezer and found them there.
Yeah, that's bad, man. Leslie, come home from work, parked the car, never turned it off. It ran for 15 hours. Thankfully, it was there and had gas left when I got up the next day to go to work. Sean said this just happened the other day. Thought I had a can of iced tea. Shook it up, opened it, whoosh. Yeah, it was soda. Onto the rock lines. Karen from Mayfield, Rock 107. I want to know your uncommon sense moment, Karen.
I accidentally lost 2 sets of keys in my car at one time at the car wash.
So you had your keys, and you're like, all right, I better bring my spare just in case, right?
Yeah, and I locked both sets in there.
Marie, Facebook.com/Angry Prospector says, went to a viewing for someone that I didn't know, thinking it was someone else. That someone else was actually still alive and well. Yeah, we have a winner.
It's time for a visit from a guy who is back from the future. 1 hour in the future on Rock 107.
Prospector, sorry to interrupt you, but I have to tell you this. You need to know. The 10:25 bus is 6 minutes late. Prospector, I'm telling you, the future is a crazy place. Stay safe, and I'll keep you informed.
He's returned from 1 hour in the future on Rock 107.
Ladies and gentlemen, grab the kids, call your neighbors, and gather round the radio.
It's now time to announce the winner of Prospector's Jam Bag of the Day, as decided by you at rock107.com.
We uncover the most baffling, ridiculous, pathetic, cockeyed, laughable, preposterous blunders in the world of misdeeds. Nominee number 1.
Caught with your pants down is mostly just a saying, but I guess it can happen literally, too. Cops in the Denver suburb of Lakewood, Colorado got a call about a burglary in progress last Thursday at 4 a.m. They ended up arresting the suspect while he was on the toilet. Not at the house he was burglaring either. No, they apparently tracked him back to his place with the help of a drone, and you can check out chest cam footage of the cops in his apartment with their guns drawn. When they opened the door to his bathroom, he was sitting on the commode in the dark with his pants around his ankles. He told one of the cops, "I'm on the crapper," except he used the S word. He also said, "I barely made it." So maybe he knew they'd seen him running and this was his excuse. He's facing second-degree burglary charges, and even the cops had fun with it when they posted the video on Facebook. They called it "Burglar Caught in a Poopy Situation."
Nominee number 2.
I don't know if this is something that will start becoming more common or if the human race will evolve away from dim bulbs. A 33-year-old man is facing an attempted grand theft auto charge after trying and failing to steal a self-driving taxi in downtown Los Angeles last week. The guy actually hailed the Waymo car, apparently knowing it was fully autonomous. But instead of just riding in the car, he climbed into the driver's seat and tried to hijack it by putting the car into drive. It doesn't work like that. Waymo realized he was trying to mess with the car, so a representative actually spoke to him through the car speaker and told him to leave. He wouldn't, and that's when the rep called the cops. He was still inside the car when police arrived to arrest him. It's unclear whether the car locked him inside to keep him there or if he was still trying to gain control of the car when the cops showed up.
And the winner is
the guy who tried to steal a self-driving car and was still in the car trying to control it when the cops arrived. You are the Yam Bag of the Day. We'll move on to Friday's Yam Bag of the Week competition. Keep it here for all the nominees for Prospector's Yam Bag of the Week, Friday morning on Rock 107. Thanks for listening to Prospector's Prime Cuts podcast. Be sure to catch us live weekdays from 5:30 to 10 a.m. on Rock 107 or online at rock107.com or the Rock 107 app, a free download for your Android or iPhone. Subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, or wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss Prospector's Prime Cuts.